Hi, this is Andrew for Geek News Central, and this afternoon we're looking at a product from Nui. It's the Nooie Cam Outdoor. Now, you can probably guess from the logo and also from the name, this isn't a doorbell camera. This is very much in the style of a security camera, so it can be used to protect your property, whether it's your driveway or your back garden, or your porch, as they say, for the porch pirates. But it has features that you might expect in some of the doorbells. So you've got two-way audio, you've got an alarm, and of course you've got the complementary apps on the iPhone and Android devices. So price-wise, it's about $60 US, £50, though you can expect to see a few discounts through Amazon and places like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this unboxed, see what's inside the box. I'll get it installed, try it for about a week, and then report back on what I thought of things like the video footage and stuff like that. So back in a sec with an unboxing. Okay, so we're back with the Nooie Cam Outdoor. Let's get this opened up and see what's inside. You can just see some of the features there. So it looks like some instructions there. Nooie Cam Outdoor. Oh, so kind of fold it up that way one. Goes through some of the features. Okay, well, we'll have a look at some of the mounting instructions that will be useful for later on. So it looks like this is the camera itself. Oh, can't quite get it out. Looks like there's a long cable. Okay. That makes it a bit easier. Get rid of the box. Okay. Now, my understanding is that the Nooie Cam is a wireless camera, but needs power. So I'm guessing that this is what this bit is here. You can see the camera as well. I don't know if you can kind of see. It has a night vision capability, so I think those you can see the little dots of the IR LEDs, which is kind of handy there. You obviously got holes for the microphone, and there is actually a cover over the lens at the minute, which is a nice touch. Yeah, I like that. You've got looks like a flexible joint here, presumably so you can tilt it, which is good. Right, I think there might be a further power adapter in here, or it's rather, it's just, you can kind of see actually it's just a USB. It's just a USB power. So there's kind of like looks like a travel charger style one here. Yeah. So I'll just pop out. But I'm going to guess that you'll be able to use any USB charger if you happen to have one handy. Yep. I think there's something. Yeah, I can feel that this is probably going to come off for the mounting. I'll figure that out later on. But look, I mean, really, that's about it, shall we say? There's not a whole lot to see at this point because very much the camera needs to be installed to make it work its best. I'm going to leave the sticker on until I get it mounted because, you know, it could be grubby work. Don't want to damage the lens before I've even got it installed. Okay, well look, there's not much more to show here. For now, this is Andrew with Geek News Central. So I had a quick look at the instructions and I've realised that I've missed a few things in the first run through. The first bit is that there were some additional bags of screws and cable ties and things like that I missed. They were in the bottom of the box. But more importantly, there is a little wall mount. This is it here. Just get it out of the bag if I can. And it's this that fits into the bottom of the camera. So you can kind of see the pin there. You've got to make sure that it's towards the bottom, as I understand it, and then when you're fitting it, it'll line up with that hole that you can see there. So that's how you make sure that the camera's upright. And then you can obviously rotate this bottom piece to ensure that the orientation is correct. So that's that, so sorry for missing that. And the other bit is this in here. There's actually a little space where there's both the reset button, but there's also, this is also where you're going to put a SD card, should you want to, or micro SD card rather, should you want to record, locally. So let me just see if I can get this open. Now I'm guessing there's a bit of, yeah, there's the screws are away. There's probably a bit of a seal on here because this is going to have to be weatherproof, so I'm guessing that there's some kind of seal around it. Let's see if I can. Ah, there you go. So just took a bit of purchase to get it open. So I think that's the reset button, and there you can see where there's the card slot for the micro SD card. Okay, that hopefully is it this time. This is Andrew for Geek News Central and the Nooie Outdoor Cam. Right, so what we're going to do next is to get the Nui Cam Outdoor set up with the Nui app and with Wi-Fi and things like that, because there's nothing worse than discovering there's something you need to do with the Nui Cam in your hand when you've actually installed it 6 foot off the ground. So we'll get that done first. Obviously you need to download the Nui app from your relevant app store. If you are on the Google store and you happen to see 2 of them, you want the one with the blue logo. There was an old version, there's now a new version, so go for the one with the blue logo. You will need to set up an account at Nui, so it'll probably just be your email address and you can sign yourself up for a password of your own choice. And the app, once you've gone through all those steps, should look something like this. So we're gonna add the camera on to the Nui app. What I have done is I've put in, just for information, I've put in a little micro SD card. So again, that's something, if you do want local storage, that's something you ought to do again before you stick it 6 foot up off the ground. So we're going to add the device. We're looking for a, maybe let's just choose cam first. Let's try that. Add, there they all are. There's the Nui Cam Outdoor, and I'm going to plug this in now. And then apparently we have to wait 15 odd seconds and look for a red LED. So I've plugged it in and we're looking for a little red LED. I think you can kind of see it there. And we're going to wait until it starts flashing red. There it is, you can see it flashing red light, so red light's on. Turn on location permissions. Yeah. Yep, whilst using the app. Okay, so this is, I'm going to have to type this in, so excuse me a second whilst I do this out of the way. Okay, so I've put my password in, but just before I hit the next, there's a little caveat here. Just make sure that you have a 2.4G Wi-Fi network. I know this one is only 2.4G. If you do have one that is both 2.4G and 5 gigahertz, you might need to make sure that you turn off the 5 gigahertz just whilst it does the initial kind of connection. You should be able to turn it back on again once everything's all set up again. Place this QR code in front of your camera. Okay, well I guess I'm going to have to unstick this so it can see. This, I have to say, if this works, this is going to be quite clever. See if I can. It says between 8 and 10 inches. Oh. Okay, so it's thinking about. You see, it's going white. Let's see what happens next. Okay, so it's actually also connected up with Alexa, which is good, but wasn't wholly expected. There you go. Still flashing away. Okay. There we go. We've got the white LED. So go on to the next step, and it says it's connected. Great. That's a nice little animation there. Okay, so it's then going to perhaps give us some instructions on the camera installation. Okay, so a bit of guidance, and there's a bit about actually how to install the little kind of mounting bracket, I guess you'd call it, and that's the bit that's going to connect into the back here, and we saw earlier on. Okay, let's skip on through this. Let's say we're going to give this a backyard. I think I'll probably call it, I'll change it to be garden later on, but hopefully we're going to see in a second from the actual camera itself. Yes, there we go. So there's me doing the recording. So that's great. So we have got, looks like we've got the camera all set up, and it's now just going to be a case of putting it on the wall and seeing what comes into the garden. Right, back soon. Okay, so we're here installing the Nooie Cam outdoors. As you can see, I've got the camera here. I've managed to feed the cable up through the barge board here. I had to drill a little hole in the wood. I've been quite lucky that I've got a power socket, really just a metre or so inside the roof space there. I think that's probably most people's biggest challenge, is getting power to the camera. Setting up the bracket here, it's all very straightforward. If you've drilled into, you can either drill into the masonry, or I could have drilled into the, with hindsight I could have drilled into the wood up there. But it's quite a nice fitting system. Everything you need for the holes and things is in the packaging, but here you've got this little pin that will engage through that little hole on the bottom of the Nooie Cam to make sure that it doesn't twist. So what I'm going to try and do one-handedly is screw this on. So it's a bit difficult, so I have to hold the camera and hold on a sec. Okay, so I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do this whilst I'm holding the camera at the same time, but basically the trick is to line up that coloured dot with the brass pin and put it over there, and then the idea is that I will twist this around now until the brass pin comes through that hole. And simply, I don't have enough strength just because of the abrasion on the wall and holding the camera to get that twisting all the way around. I'm going to need to put the camera down to get that in place. But that's the plan, and it should mean that the camera's secured well in place and isn't easily removed, or the weather's not going to blow it off or anything like that. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can get that in place and then come back to you. Okay, so with a bit of struggling I've managed to get it on. I'm not sure that it's actually quite fully engaged, but frankly I think it's probably the texture of the wall and stuff that's stopping it from rotating all the way. So that's as good as it's going to get for now, but we'll have a look in the app now and see what we can see. Right, well that's the camera installed on the wall. What we're going to have a look at now is the Nui app itself. So I've downloaded this from the Google Play Store, and here it is here. And opening it up really gives you a view onto, if you like, your Nui world. So you've got your cameras here, you've got your smart home stuff here, little shop that you can get additional things and features for, and then you've got your account. And broadly with the Nooie Outdoor Cam, I'm using the account and also this view here where you can see the camera. Now if I obviously tap on here, it's going to give me a view of my back garden. You can see all the rubbish bins and the trampoline and all that kind of stuff. But you know, that's what you're protecting, so that's what you want to see. And obviously if you do rotate it like this, you can get a sorry, there's a bit of reflection there, you can get a bigger view. That's pretty much. Along here you've got you can, oh, it's just catching up there. You can record video from the thing, so if I type that, it'll start recording what you're actually seeing right now. So that can be useful if you see something going on that you particularly want captured, and once the recording has stopped, it'll then save that into your photos on Google Photos. You can do the similar thing with just a snapshot. Just take a single frame And then here you've got a few additional options. So this is the alarm option, which will make the Nui Outdoor Cam screech. I think it's probably the best phrase to use at somebody out in the garden. And then you've also got the option here to talk to somebody, and that's the little microphone there. I find even from within here, where we're all on the same Wi-Fi network, I find there's a good delay. I wouldn't say it's not seconds. It's probably at least a chunk of a second. So it's not something you're really going to be having a conversation over. It's going to be, get out my garden, and that'll do it there. And here you can actually also decide whether you want to hear what's going on outside. At the moment, generally I have that turned off because it's just a visual thing. But that's there if you need it. If you swipe up here from the bottom, come on, swipe. There we go. It's just catching up. What you can then now do is actually scroll back through the past, as it were. I have the SD card set on a loop so that it's just constantly recording to the SD card, and when it fills up, then it effectively deletes old stuff and produces new stuff. Now, the first time I did this, that feature didn't kind of work, but I reformatted the SD card, and that seems to solve that problem. So if you get that issue with an SD card, that the loop feature doesn't seem to work, it just seems to get jammed when the card's filled up, try reformatting the card and see if that works for you. So at any point I can go back and if I'm actually scroll back to, say, last night, 4 in the morning, the view up here should show what it was like at 4 in the morning. So you'll see it in darkness. So from that view there, you'll get quite a good impression of the, if you like, the strength of the infrared camera that's on the Nui Outdoor Cam. I think it's pretty good. It's definitely better than, I have one of the, shall we say, market leading cameras, and it's, now, to be fair, it's an early generation of it, but the IR illumination from the Nui Outdoor Cam is definitely better than the illumination from this other brand, shall we say. Now I think this, I do like this, the fact that you can just go back to almost any moment in time and see what's going on. It works well. And one thing that, of course, and I'll drop it into the video in the video section later, is that I caught a hedgehog just pottering about in the garden. So I was able to record his activity, and we can drop that in. Now you can purchase additional cloud services from Nui, which will do additional types of recording. Obviously there's a monthly or an annual subscription associated with that. Look at those and decide what's best value for you depending on your cameras. Broadly, those are the main features. This bit up here, you've got a few options to do with various settings, and if you're wanting to do your motion and your audio detection, you can set up whether you want it to be high, medium or low. You can also set it up so that if there's parts of the view where maybe there's trees that move a lot and get picked up, you can kind of if like eliminate them from the detection zones. Oops, sorry, I knocked the camera there. So that it only just picks up what you want it to pick up. You can also use sound detection. I've got that obviously turned off because there's really generally not much sound going on. It might be useful if you're concerned about somebody smashing in a window, that kind of thing. You can turn that on there, but for now I don't have that turned on. And as I mentioned here, there's the storage. You can put in your SD card. Now you can kind of see that I've got this loop recording turned on, and you can also see that the storage is at about 0.7 gigs. Really, once I found that once you turned the loop recording on, it never went below that. That's 0.7 gigs. What else to put in here? Oh, so as I mentioned, you can get notifications. You can kind of see up here this N. That tells me that there's a notification, and that. So if I can just try and bring that in without showing you everything to do with my personal life. Well, anyway, what you can do is you can takes you through to one of the other areas of your thing, so an account in my inbox, it will tell me that I have got a motion detected notification. And if you tap on this, so let's say this hopefully will just be one of the cats. If I tap on this, I can go to the video. Oh, it's actually my wife, but she's been out in the garden watering the plants. But you can see how it picked her up. Obviously, there's a few, as I say, there's a couple of other settings and support and your account. It's all in here, so it's quite flexible, quite handy. I like it. It's quite an elegant app. In terms of any issues I've had with it, there've been a couple of times where I've gone in here and it has not shown the camera at all. It's just completely blank here, and it's just asking you to add a camera. On the few occasions that that happened to me, I found that usually if I just swiped away the app and reloaded the app, it solved that particular issue. So it's possibly a problem with my Wi-Fi, who knows, but easily solved. And you can also notice here that the Wi-Fi here is good. I have the camera, I should say, it's probably about 3 or 4 meters away from where the nearest access point is, and you know, I'm getting a good Wi-Fi signal there. I haven't really had any issues with the Wi-Fi. I know, again, some of the market leaders have their own kind of Wi-Fi hub for the cameras. I found that to be, you know, not necessary at all with the Nooie Outdoor Cam. Really works quite well just by itself. Okay, so that wraps it up for the Nui app. I've been using the Outdoor Cam for really about a week to 10 days now, and I think everything really works well. You've got the camera, you've got the app, you know, as I say, it just worked well together. Okay, so look, I'm going to stop there now. Then I'm going to do the if you like, the final notes for the Nui Outdoor Cam. Thanks very much. Hi, this is Andrew for Geek News Central, and we're back with the Nui Cam Outdoor. Now, I've been using this for about a week to 10 days, and you'll have seen me, go through the unboxing, the use of the app. I've probably dropped in the video of the hedgehog that we got, and as I said, I've been very impressed with it. Definitely gave me way more than I was expecting, and holds up well against the market leaders. So from that point of view, good thumbs up. What's good about it? Well, as I say, it's it's a HD quality. It works well both you know, during the day, and I was particularly impressed with the outdoor performance of the camera. The connectivity is good. Really didn't have any problems with the Wi-Fi, and again, unlike some of the market leaders, you don't need a separate hub for it to work. You could just connect it to your Wi-Fi. So as long as you've got a good setup, you're not going to have any problems. And as I said, I had no problems at all with it. What else is there to say? Well, I mean, I suppose in terms of recordings, the ability to have its own memory card is a plus as well. You do have the option to purchase cloud storage for the Nui Cam. There's a range of prices and subscriptions there. So if that's the kind of thing you're interested in, do have a look at that as well. I think it's reasonably priced, and you know, you've got to, in some respects, they've got to make their money somewhere, because the camera itself is very competitively priced at, I think it's yes, it's $60 for in the US, and I think it's £50 in the UK. But a lot of the time there are offers on that, so do watch out. In particular, I think at the moment there's an offer on Amazon that brings it down to close to £35, so definitely watch out for offers. Anything particularly bad? Not really. I had a couple of glitches with the app, sometimes not responding to the camera, but usually, and that was on Android, usually just closing the app and restarting it would fix that particular issue. The two-way conversation feature does work. There is a bit of a delay, I'd say, on the conversation, in that when I say hello, it's probably, I don't know, half a second to a second before hello comes out the camera at the other end. I don't think that's particularly unusual with devices of this type. I've never seen anyone that's, you know, of a comparison to, say, using a mobile phone or anything like that. There is the cable is nice and flat. I would say that, I wouldn't say this is an issue, but there's about, you know, you have a good run. I think it's probably 3 meters on. I should have looked this up, but there's quite a good long flat USB cable coming from the camera to where you want to plug it into the power supply within the house if you're mounting this externally. Now, the cable itself is lovely and flat, but it's tethered at both ends, at the camera end, but also it uses quite a big standard USB-A connector on the other end. So you actually have to drill or have access to a reasonably big hole to get the USB-A connector through it. It would be much nicer if it used, say, something like USB-C or your micro USB, so that you have a much thinner connector and therefore can poke it through smaller holes. It'd also be kind of nice that if it was detachable at both ends, so that it made your life was potentially a bit easier. You kind of have to feed the cable from the outside in, whereas in my instance, at times it might have been easier to be able to feed the cable from the inside out, if you know what I mean. So just something. Now obviously that would have made things like the waterproofness of the camera a bit harder to achieve, but it's just something to think about if you're buying it. Where are you going to be installing the camera, and how are you going to get the power supply to the camera. Having said that, one thing I did like was the mounting system for the camera. It was great to be able to have a level of security in terms of screwing the thing to the wall, putting the camera on and clicking it into place. Now I know we didn't quite get there on my particular setup. I think that's largely because of the roughness of the wall. I just couldn't get enough purchase on it to lock it into place. But again, compare it with some of the competitors who might use magnetic mounting, there's always that slight fear for lower down cameras that the camera itself is just going to get lifted. You've definitely got a bit more security there with the Nooie Outdoor Cam. I think that broadly sums it up. As I said, look, it's a great little camera. I think if you get this, you're not going to be disappointed. You've got all those features like motion detection. You've got the infrared for outdoor viewing. It really does tick all the boxes for a very reasonably priced camera. And so I would say go ahead and try it out. There's no issues here at all. If you are wanting to know more information, trundle over to Nooie.com. That's Nooie.com. I'll stick it into the video below. And if you want to purchase, again, if you're in the UK, it's from Amazon.co.uk. And again, I'll put the link in the video below, just down here somewhere. Okay, well look, I think that wraps it up. The Nooie Cam Outdoor, the Nooie Outdoor Cam, depending on which bit of the website or the material you read. Definitely worth considering if you're looking at a camera to look over your back garden or your front garden or your driveway or something like that. Okay, well look, this is Andrew for Geek News Central. Thanks very much.